fine. This is my most.
Do we have an outline for the conversation?
Not really. We
Just gisting.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're good, right?
Who's the Kemini?
Me.
Okay. I'll follow you now. I just saw your tweet.
I'm not using any. No phone. No, this thing. No systems. I'm just using it for teleprompting. Okay.
Followed you, sir. I just so can't wait to have you.
What? We're good. All right. 3 minutes to go. Nsiko? That is running for 3, yeah. The next 3 minutes we should be up and running. All right, sir.
Thank you, sir. But you can't hold me to that.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Nectar Podcast. My name is Ekemini Joseph. People call me Ike on your radio. And of course, right here, we are on Facebook Live. And quite impromptu. You don't see me on a Tuesday, right? But I have someone here in town who is a great talent manager, and we are going to play host to him today. I don't know how to start describing him, but let's just go straight up to it. Hi, Godwin.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know. Have you been told before
That
you don't look like an Akwa Ibomite? I don't know how
I
we
have.
look, but actually,
I have.
that
I've
cliche
been
stuff.
told. When I managed MI, I was told I look like I'm from the north,
Oh wow.
and then specifically Jos.
Hmm.
And then later on, I was told that I look Delta,
Okay.
and then I'm all sorts of things, and my name doesn't help either.
Yeah. Right.
So when people say, "Oh, what's your name?" It's Godwin Tom. It's like, okay, so where are you from? So it doesn't help. But I'm from Akwa Ibom, from Utuabak.
Utua back.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's where
Wow.
I'm from. My mom is from Parinin.
A bit close.
Yeah, pretty close. But yeah, I am fully, I'm fully from here.
Fantastic. So I wanted to say congratulations on your wedding.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's nice having you in New York.
I mean, I had to. My both parents live in Akwa Ibom, so
Okay.
my family's here. It just made sense.
Have you
to
been
be
away?
here. I've lived in Lagos all my life. I was born in Lagos, but we used to come. We used to go to Abak every year. When my grandmother was still alive, so we used to go every year. Every year we'd get in the car. My dad would drive from Lagos, and we'll come to Abak. But after she died, the visits sort of
Ended, right?
it decreased.
Okay, guys, so let me give you a rundown. Godwin Tom is actually a very resourceful thought leader and a game changer in African music business. And he has a decade experience in managing African A-list artists and talent all across Nigeria. We are playing host to Godwin Tom right here on Nectar Podcast. And Godwin Tom is actually in town for you right here on the podcast. So Godwin, let's talk about you being here in Uyo. Aside from the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're here for a show today.
Well, I didn't decide on the show until I got here, on the event, on the session until I got here. I just felt, obviously, when you're planning a wedding, it consumes you.
Sure, it does.
And when I think Marvel sent me a message, and he was like, would like to meet to have a conversation.
Okay.
I mean, during the talk, we just realized that it's something that I should be doing anyway. I did one in 2017, but that was a lot more planned. But this one, I just thought, every time I talk to someone from Akwa Ibom, a musician or a business person, most people just seem a bit lost about things. And I felt like, okay, I'm not a guru, but at least I have an idea. But before I start giving people solutions, let me hear what the issues are. And that's why we decided to just have a session. So it's going to be an interactive session.
Great. So the session is actually the music business angle, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So the music business angle is actually going to be one of the most impactful and interactive conversation with Godwin Tom, and it's going to be happening today by 2 p.m.
2 p.m., yeah.
Where is the venue?
It's Halima
Event Center. Okay, great, fantastic. Halima Event Center. So if you're an artist and you signed up for that, I think you should be there. But if you're not going to be there, then listen, I have some questions for Godwin.
No problem. Well, yeah.
Aha. All right. So Godwin, let's talk. You've managed couple of A-list artists. I know it comes with a lot of challenges, understandable challenges, because A-list artists actually have some funds to do some stuff that they want. How does it feel managing someone who is not even in the B-list or C?
Well, it's a lot of grafting. It's a lot of perseverance, a lot of rejection. Before MI became A-list, he wasn't even C-list.
Yeah.
Right? And, when we started getting work, I remember sitting in a bank, some client that wanted to pay us for a show. I think it was 250,000 they were paying, and they kept me there for about 3 to 4 hours just because my artist was a nobody, right? And you wait,
Sure.
You go to shows. There are times when we've gone to shows, we took a bike, you stop the bike before the venue in the corner, and then you walk to the venue, and then the bouncer doesn't know who you are, even if you're on the poster. You deal with those types of situations, and you get to a point, because I quit my job to manage MI. So
Oh, wow.
it was a bit of a shock when, you actually start looking for money and you realize that you may not be able to go home this evening because you can't afford transportation. Those type of situations occur, and you grow through them, and you learn how to figure out how to manage resources and build relationships. Take buses, take cabs, add money with friends. All those things you learn to do to be able to deliver your job, because whether you like it or not, you're going to be judged on the work you do. It doesn't matter how many challenges you're dealing with.
Okay, so when did you decide to be a talent manager?
I didn't decide to be a talent manager, to be honest. I used to be an artist.
Okay.
And I was in a group called Seventh Seal. It was a gospel rap group. We got signed into a label called Testify, which is a funny story because before we signed, we were doing shows. After we signed, nothing. So it was a very weird situation for me. And then we did... So I got a job. I just felt like this music thing won't pay me. So went back to school, came out, got a job. And I was at my job, and Osage, who used to manage me when I was an artist, was managing Kel at the time. And she was also, that was when she discovered Wizkid. I was talking to him. And she asked me, so I told her she's my friend. So I called her and I was like, look, I love my job. I was PR and marketing manager at a company. We had British Telecoms as client, Nokia. And I told her, look, I love my job. It's nice, but I'm bored. Right? I just need a challenge. I was 21 at the time. And I was like, I'm just tired. And she said, okay, I'll keep my ears down. If anything comes up, I'll let you know. And then I think 2 weeks later, she called me and she was like, hey, are you still bored? I was like, yeah. She said, okay, there's this artist I have for you. Are you interested in managing artists? So I was in a little bit of chakara as well. Like, I don't know, it depends on who it is. So she told me, his name is MI. I had never heard of MI until that day. And she sent me his music. I listened to 2 songs, Chant Down Babylon and Crowd Mentality. I listened to the 2 songs and I was like, I want to meet the guy. Even if I don't manage him, I want to meet this guy. We met MI, so there was now a mix-up. MI told her he was looking for an assistant. She thought she heard manager. So I go there as a manager, PR marketing manager from where I am. I'm sitting with MI and I'm asking him questions like, so what are your plans for the next 5 years? I'm not talking like a PA, right? So what are your plans? What are you trying to do? Can you afford to pay me? All those type of questions. Yeah. And so he was quiet for most of that meeting. And after the session, he took my number and he said, give me a call. So later on, he called me and he said he thinks there's a misunderstanding. He wasn't looking for a manager. He's looking for an assistant. And I was like, I'm not the guy. And he said, well, I'm calling you because I think I want you to be my manager. At the time, he had already had someone, so he told me there'll be 2 of us. I said, no problem. I met him a second time, asked him if he could afford to pay me. He couldn't. Asked him if his label could afford to pay me. He said no. But I remember him saying something to me that what made me, in this case, in the context of the conversation, decide. He said to me, I'm 27. This was 2008. He said, I'm 27. I dropped out of college in the US because my scholarship was discontinued. I don't have a job. I get a job at the bank right now. I don't have a home. I don't have, basically, if this doesn't work out, it's over, right? And I got home that evening. That thing just kept ringing in my head. And I sent him I drafted a long text to say, my brother, this burden is not for me. Good luck to you. God bless you. But I don't know why I deleted it. And instead, I typed my resignation letter. So the next morning, I got into the office. This was the 22nd of September, 2008, and I dropped my resignation. And 1 month later, I was MI's manager. So that's how I got in. It wasn't a conscious... I always knew I was going to go into business at some point, but I wasn't sure about I was 21. I wasn't very sure about what I wanted to do, but at that time, I had worked as a PR marketing manager. I had worked as a head of administrations. I'd worked in a magazine company. I'd done work, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So yeah, that's how I got in.
Beautiful, fantastic. I know managing people like MI, who is just an artist, and managing people like a group, like Show Them Camp, it's actually quite different. So,
I mean, Show Them have become brothers, right? MI and I worked for 2 years plus. Show Them Camp and I have been together for 10 years, right? So they're no longer clients. So when I'm thinking, I take the least amount of commissions from Show Them Camp, right? Partially because there are two of them, so we're 3 people splitting money. But I don't think I've ever paid a lot of attention to, it hasn't been about money. Palm Wine Festival London, I paid my ticket there, I paid my apartment. You know, I'm not, it's at a point where all of us are doing this because we enjoy doing that, especially for Show Them Camp. All the boys there don't need to do music. Right, so for us, we're having fun, we're doing what we love, and money comes great. Money, the jobs that people have called us for, we've turned them down because we're like, it doesn't work with us, we don't want to do that. So for Show Them Camp, there's a relationship. MI was more of I was nobody in the business, right, and I needed to show that I could deliver, I could do the work. And so there was a lot of, and I was learning as well, so there was a lot of mistakes, a lot of beating myself up over, I remember MI saying this during the podcast I had with him, and he was telling everybody that when I make a mistake, I would beat myself up for 3 days. I would be angry with myself because I just didn't want to fail, right? So I used to do that a lot to myself, and he used to tell me, bro, at some point he would be upset, but at some point, like, bro, chill now. Like, you made a mistake, move on, right? But I was always about, how do I do whatever it is I'm doing better than I was doing before? And so, yeah, so the difference was the difference is I'm calmer now.
It comes with age.
Yeah, I'm calmer now, and I'm more aware of what I need to do.
Okay. All right, so this is Godwin Tom, and he has shared his journey with us. You want to hear more of this, you have to be at Elima Event Center by 2 p.m. That's 30 minutes from now. For you to see this, you need to sign up, right? So there's a link somewhere. You can find out that on Maxstream Inc. Facebook page or Instagram page or Twitter page, and you're going to see the link to sign up if you still have a chance to get there. Okay? All right, so Godwin, you've done a journey, and you have a 12-part ebook that is called The Journey of Learner.
Yeah. Well, The Journey of a Learner is really what brought... It was supposed to be 10 years a learner, which was when I celebrated 10 years in the industry.
Okay.
But there was so much going on with Wande Cool at the time, I had to put it to the side. There was just a lot going on. So that was when we did his concert in London. We did his concert in Nigeria. We did quite a number of gigs outside the country. And then we were at a very critical stage of his 5-year plan. So I couldn't do anything else. But I think The Journey of a Learner is really my story. Mistakes I've made, lessons I've learned. People always say, you share, you're so open, you share. But I'm like, but the truth is there's no manual when I came in. There was nothing to reference.
Sure.
Right? So for a lot of guys coming in, they now have something to reference. And they know that they can make mistakes and it's okay. Right? It's okay that one day you might oversleep and leave whiskey at Dubai airport. You realize that there's some days when you guys will go to a show and you forgot to carry the performance CD or flash drive. These things may happen. But what you can do to avoid them or stop them from happening is probably have something like a checklist and have multiple duplicates. These are all things you learn, but I feel like nobody was teaching us that. We were learning those things and stumbling as we were going, getting up, stumbling, and most of us got tired of stumbling and walked away, and some of us just kept stumbling until we luckily hit a big client or we hit relationships that helped us grow. So I felt like not everybody has that chance, but let's give everybody the opportunity.
Right.
So the book basically chronicles different things, and each chapter, each ebook is something that I've either said to myself or someone has said to me before. So I just got here was a conversation I had with someone. Okay. Why are you here is something someone asked me. The least stupid person in the room is what someone told me to be. So there are different situations like that.
Fantastic. And there's something I've learned over time, that people who share their stories actually learn a lot more.
Yeah.
Is that true with you?
yes, people don't understand that when you teach, you learn more.
Exactly.
Because you have to teach, you are forced to learn, right? And when you learn, you will be shocked. Or when you teach, one of the most important, people think teachers talk the most. They don't realize that teachers, to be a good teacher, you actually have to listen more, right? Because to communicate with each person in a room, you must understand who they are and what makes them interested in a conversation. Yeah. So I feel every time I'm in a position to teach someone something, I'm also approaching the conversation as if somebody's going to teach me something. Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, guys. So you're still listening and watching anyway. If you're listening to us on our internet radio that we've tested, those one that I've sent the link to. So you're still watching Nectar Podcast right here in Nectar Studios in Uyo. And I'm playing host to one of the most amazing talent managers we've got from Africa. His name is Godwin Tom. Proud to tell you that he's a son of the soil.
Look, you know what? Let's do this. It's Godwin Mfon.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Godwin Mfon Tom. That reminds me of one guy that Marvel Umor. You know, we've always had this talk. What's wrong with you, boy? And what's your real name? You get Marvel is one crazy young man. I don't know, but it's fine. All right. Shout out to Maxstream Inc., Marvel Umor and Samson Malaki. They did this and they are making this for you guys. You know, if you're a music artist watching us now. And I believe that you two are going to enjoy having this conversation when you meet up with Godwin Mfonobong Tom. I added double for you.
I just know it's my dad's name, so I do. So you know, my family is the Umor family. So in Abak, and so the United Pentecostal Church. That's my family church. I don't know if anyone knows General Godwin Umor. That's my uncle. That's the person that actually gave me my name. Okay. So you see how selfish he is. My great grandfather had 2 sons, and decided to name them George and Tom. Okay. And that's where we all came from. So there's the George family, and then there's the Tom family. So my father's name is Mfon. So Tom is the family name. Okay. But I don't know. I've never heard him being called Mfonobong or Mfonobasi. It's just Mfon, and I've kept it that way.
That way, yeah. Fantastic. All right, so there's someone that on YouTube, on social media, all day. One big man, he sings gospel. Bears almost your same name, Godwin Tom.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've seen him in Evangelist Godwin Tom.
Evangelist
Yes,
Godwin Tom.
I've seen him before. I've never listened to his music though.
Are you related?
I've seen no, not at all.
Okay,
not at all.
Okay, all right. So you've done a couple of trainings. I can remember a time ago that one of my guys wanted to come to Lagos just to join you up and be an intern. So how does that work for you? Like, you know, teaching others the journey.
So that started when I tried to employ people. Oh. So I learned 8 years into my career that everything I was doing was wrong. This is my 12th year, right? And I learned 8 years in. 8 years. Yeah. I've done all the work. I've managed Whiskey, managed MI. I've done the work. And I found out that everything I was doing was wrong, right? Because I sat with my lawyers. I just hired some lawyers, and they looked through my books, and they were like, shut it down. Shut it down. Your taxes, everything is off. The company structure, the whole thing. And I remember being so angry. Like, how? Like, 8 years, you know, and so I had to start unlearning everything I knew.
Starting afresh.
And then start learning new things. And I realized that if I had continued, I would have been lost. Then I started thinking about hiring people, and then I started thinking, but who's going to teach the guys coming after me, right? And I tried to hire some people, and I realized that they were dealing with the same thing. They've gotten wrong information, but they just continued running like that. So even when I employed them, they were stuck in their ways. They didn't want to change. They didn't understand process. So I started hiring people that knew nothing about the entertainment industry and training them, and they ended up doing better. Yeah. And so I felt like there's a need for reorientation and education. So I started something online called the Music Business Series because I couldn't afford
to have everybody
an event. So I started the Music Business Series. I got Baku Tubman. Baku Tubman is a Liberian American who used to run Family Tree and Violator. So Missy Elliott, Macy Gray, Outkast, that Busta Rhymes, that level of artist. And she came on board. She had conversations. I spoke to Tiny Temper's manager. So it became a thing that we're doing online.
Okay.
Sorry about that. It became a thing that we started doing online, and I feel like there was a I saw people clamoring for it. So in 2017, I decided to tour. So I came to Uyo, I went to Ibadan, I went to Abuja, I did Lagos, I did Uganda, I did Kampala in Uganda, I did Accra, I did Joburg in South Africa. And the interest just grew. So I started the training programs. And I just morphed it into an actual 3-month program where I take people to, so instead of telling you this is how media buying works, I take you to a media buying company. And the media buying company shows you the process of how everything works. Instead of telling you how radio airplay works, I take you to a radio station and a TV station. So we did that. We were going to do the next one this year, but Corona hit.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be in June. And I remember when Corona hit, I panicked. Because I started thinking, oh, my clients are losing money. How am I making money? And so I decided to release the book. But then I did a 1-month manager's boot camp. My goal was, I'm telling the truth now. My goal was that I would do 30 people. 30 people at 10K would give me 300,000 naira. I have money for grocery shopping. I have money to ensure that there's food in the house. Basic things. I wasn't even asking for too much. 160 people registered.
Wow.
Right? And I had to stop registrations because I felt like, yes, this money is nice, but I need to be able to cater to the people and give them the right information.
Yeah.
So what happened with that was I started getting interest from different people. Actually, the bank I'm partnering with now had 2 or 3 of their people register for the program. And Universal Music sent about 11 people from their staff. So it just blew up bigger than
what you expected.
What I expected. So I just continued running with that. And now we're running a 3-month program. The 3-month program I was going to run, now we decided to run it online. And luckily, we got partners from across Africa. So it's actually going to be bigger than I planned. So we have guys from Mauritius. We have guys from Ghana. We have guys from Uganda, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Kenya who are partnering with me on the project.
Fantastic. All right, so we have barely 10 for me to tell you goodbye, so you could go meet up those guys that are waiting for you. All right, but let's talk about them. Music artists. So I've been in the music industry business for a while, being radio and I may play and all of this stuff. And I've come in contact with a lot of music artists in the States. So let's talk. A label or getting a manager, what do you advise?
Depends on the question. Because that's a very vague question.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you're trying to achieve. So if, as an artist, I know that you don't understand business. Not every artist will. However, you should at least have an idea of where you want to go, right? As a person, as a human being. And that should guide the people who work with you. One of the first questions I ask artists when they come to me is, what do you want? Because I cannot have the dream for you.
Sure.
I have my own personal dreams. So when you have your dream, what do you see? When you tell me what you see, my job is to then tell you how realistic it is right now. Or what are the things you can do now to get to the point where you want to get to. And most times those conversations are not pleasant because that's not what they want to hear.
Sure.
So most times they want to immediately get shows. So I'll give you another example with radio. Radio and TV has 24 hours a day, right? Yeah. There are hundreds of artists. So if every artist releases a song that is 2 minutes, that's how many hours? That's 2 minutes, that's 400 minutes, right?
Okay.
Then you have commercials that because the radio station has to run on adverts, they need money. So by the time you put all, then there's news and there's different things. By the time you put all of that, they can't put all the songs in one day, right? So the only way you can get your head above the water so people can see you is to build your own audience. And the way you build your audience is you create content that, and I tell people this, you create music that you like, that you connect with, right? And then put it out. You put that out on a consistent basis, you're going to find people who are interested in the music you have. Then you begin to engage them and build a relationship with them. Right now, people just assume is to post my artwork and everybody will run at me. That's not how it works. people want to feel like they're connecting to your music. It's not just social media. This has started from a very long time, right? So when artists do this thing where they think, if I just put out content, everybody will love it. Yeah. That's not how it works. Nobody releases and produces something or manufactures a product and automatically just has buyers. You have to tell people that the product exists.
Fantastic. Okay, so in case you're just joining us, we're about to round up. And of course, this is Godwin Von Tom in Uyo, all the way from Lagos. He's a talent manager who has managed Wizkid, Davido, DJ Copy, Show Them Camp, and the rest of the artists that you could think of, right? And I know there are lots of young people that actually wanted to see you, and it's their time today.
Yeah, I mean, social distance a little, sha. I'm always happy to have these conversations, and I feel like the more people I talk to, the more I see opportunities for growth. Yeah. We have over 170 universities in Nigeria. Not one university in Nigeria offers music business as a course. Not one. But hundreds of thousands of people want to go into this music career. So if hundreds of thousands of people want to go in, then that means that creates jobs for people. That means there's opportunities for hundreds of thousands of managers, road managers. There's opportunity, but there's no course doing that right now. And I think that's why I feel the need to continue to engage young guys to find a solution. And I mean, I'm going to put this out there for everybody in Akwa Ibom. You're an artist. There are 6 universities in Uyo. I'm sure that there are 5 artists that are upcoming that people are paying attention to right now that can actually partner and actually do shows across these 6 universities. These are things that people need to start thinking. Lagos is saturated, right? And people in Lagos are struggling to get into the market. You can't just leave Akwa Ibom and come to Lagos and think because you're in Lagos, things are going to work out. Build a fan base so that your fan base here supports you. Connect with Akwa Ibom associations in the US. They exist. In Lagos, they exist. In Abuja, they exist. In Europe, they exist. So what are those associations? Ibibi associations, Anang associations. They're all over the place. Connect with them. In America, that means you're getting access to the guys that play on Spotify. They'll play music on Spotify or Apple Music and give you high money, but you're still making music from here, right? So we need to start thinking strategically and not just following and copying and pasting. It's not going to work.
Fantastic. So you can get a lot more of this when you join the music business hangout.
So yes, music business hangout. Yeah.
All right, guys. So I think that's going to be a wrap. Thank you very much. 3 Ayo actually says that you're doing fantastic. Chidiman Nene Kale, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your thumbs up. Ilari, goodness, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much, Godwin Tom, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. I want to say thank you to Samson Malaki and Marvel Umor of Max Stream Inc., who actually made this possible so that you too can actually watch Godwin Tom right here live on our Nectar Podcast. And of course, thank you very much too to everybody who has made this possible. You know, I can't go without giving credits to everybody who've been here. Thank you to Abbas Nya, who is in charge of this, making us run today. And thank you very much to Eli Bid and Odogu Uche, who actually set up the studio for us to use. Thank you very much too to the Victor, who is behind the cameras today for us. And of course, thank you to Piper, who did the designs for us. I want to say a big thank you to my producer, Siko Aldo, a.k.a. my girls. All right, my name is Ekemini Joseph, EK on your radio. Thank you very much for joining me today, which was very, very impromptu. See you again tomorrow when I'm going to bring you another artist right here on the show.